Okay, so we were looking at these symbols, and we're trying to come up with the words that go with these symbols. Let's look at the first section right up here where I put add. What does anybody else have? I'm sorry, just like I've got plus, addition. Let's see. Hold on. Addition, sum, more than. More or more than works too. I mean, both of them work. Give, like how? How would you write it? No, I know, like in a word, like in a phrase. So, oh, gain. I like gain. I'm just trying to figure out how to put give in there in a sentence. You know what I mean, to go with it. But gain works. Like if you gained $5, normally when we get old, we gain 10 pounds. Yeah, let's not talk about that. Okay. Might get a little upset here. All right, what else could we have? Deposit. Let's see if I can find my other. Nope, that wasn't it. Well, let's go back here. I'm flipping just. I was about to say I'm flipping channels. Okay. Here's some other ones right here. Did you have any of these? Add, increase, sum, together, more than, greater than, all together, in addition to, and then combine. Does that mean that that's all that there is in the whole wide world? No, it's just a good list for us to start from so that we know that when we see these phrases, they're kind of like the more common ones when we're trying to do our word problems. Okay, if I go back, don't worry, that one will come up in just a second if you didn't get it all. What about subtract? Take away. All right, let's see. Take away. Jinx, you owe me a Coke. Wait, punch, you owe me a what? Pinch, punch, you owe me lunch. I hadn't heard that one. Take away, less than, minus, withdraw. Man, you're all about the money. All right, withdraw. I'm okay with that. What about just less? Difference, decrease, below or under, lose. Because, yeah, if you gain electrons or if you lose electrons. Let's look at this one over here. We've got these. Minus, did we get most of them? Subtract, less and less than. Take away, decrease, reduce or reduced, difference. I think we had better ones. Okay, well, what about the multiply one over here? What other words do we have for multiply? Well, okay, and times 2. What word can we use besides times 2? It's two twice. What does it mean when it's times 3? Thrice? Did you say thrice? Triple? What else could mean multiplication? Of. Yep. I don't know why I just yelled in that microphone like that. Okay. Somebody can't hear now. Of what else? No say? Quad. You could do quad like 4 times. Let's see what it says over here. multiply, I think I heard it right as I turned it. Multiply times product, each and per. Ooh, pick me, right here. Highlight that. That's important. Each and per is multiplying. Now, the other ones, if we go back, let's see, what about these? What about that divide? Oh, it groups of. Groups of. Can anybody think? Split. What? I'm sorry? Quotient. Ah, half. What'd you say? Yeah, so half or a third or a fourth, something like that. So the other ones they have over here, where'd it go? Come on. There we go. Divide, quotient, split into equal parts, portion, fraction, a half, a third. Now there are other symbols as well that we need, that there are words for. Do we have all of these? Speak now or forever hold your peace. You object? How about these? I need these written down too. We have the equal, total, result, equivalent. We didn't have those. I know, it's okay. We're just getting some other words out there to help us. Now, whenever we have to use a letter, it's when they're telling us that we have a variable or a number. They're asking us to use a letter. So let's get these written down. One observation was that we had each and per right here where it talks about the variables. Okay, and then it also was being used right here. Well, that's because whenever we're doing the multiplying and we have p and each and per, we're going to be multiplying some number by the variable. Okay, so for example, when it says that we make $8 per hour. Okay, if I was writing that as some kind as a algebraic phrase expression, that means $8 per means to multiply. H is the number of hours, so it's 8 times H. Okay, and so whenever you see per and each, it just means you're going to be multiplying by a variable. Okay, now we also talked about last week, we were working with equations. Now remember that in equations, here was an example. 2x plus 8 plus x equals, I'm trying to do the math in my head, 23. Okay? This was an equation, right? And what is in the word equation that you see is in the symbols right here? Yeah, an equal sign, right? So when it has an equal sign in it, it's an equation. An equation, there's always a solution. There's always an answer. So for example, think about, what did we do last week? I sat there and I had you cover up the right-hand side. And then didn't you combine like terms and put these two together? And you got 3x plus 8 equals 23. Then you had to go and solve it, and you subtracted 8 from each side. 3x equals 15. Divide by 3. X equals 5. An equation has a solution, an exact number for a solution. Okay? Now you're like, okay, that's great. We've already done this. Well, now we're going to also be talking about And to make sure you have this written down, this is an expression. Okay? I would just write it on the back. The problem I just had up there was 2x plus 8 plus x equals 23. We just said, though, that this was an equation. Try an E first, Crawford. There you go. Equation. An expression is only this part right here. An expression is not going to have the equal sign. Okay? So if I take away that equals 23, this is my expression. There's not one single answer for an expression. The only thing I can do here is combine like terms. So I would get 2x plus 1x, 3x plus 8. With an expression, all I'm able to do is simplify. Is to combine the things that go together, and that's the only thing I can do with an expression. An expression is part of an equation. Okay? All right, so let's look at, oh yeah, I wrote that there. All right, let's see here. Let's look at the sheet of paper that I gave to y'all right here. Look at the very first problem. It says, write an algebraic expression or equation for each verbal expression below. Okay, it says the sum of a number and 4. What does sum tell you? It tells you add, and I normally make my notes up there above it. Of a number. Okay, we don't know what the number is. That's going to be our variable. So you can use n, you can use x, LMNOP, XYZ. Now I know my ABCs. Okay, bad jokes. Anyway, so when we're going through to write it, we're going to write a number plus 4 because it's the sum of a number and 4. Let's look at the next one. What if I wanted to write an expression from this? It says 2 more than, what does more than tell me? Plus 5 times a number. Okay, now look, this is important. Do not use that for times. What is that? An x. And it could be mistaken for a variable, right? So now we can use, when it says a number, well, okay, you could put a star if you wanted to. You could put a star. You could put parentheses or a dot. Okay? A number squared. You could use an x squared, but I'm just saying, like, whenever we use a variable, x is now a variable, and we don't use it to say, like, 5 times 2. We don't write that like that anymore. You either write 5 and a dot and 2, or you can use the parentheses like that. Okay? So this one, 2 more than 5 times a number squared. Or because addition can go back and forth and it doesn't change the value, it could be 5n squared plus 2. Either way of those is correct. Okay, well, let's look at this one. Take a second and try and guess and try and write down how you think we might write it. Not yet. You're supposed to write it down first. You can tell me in a minute. How do you think, now you can tell me, how do you think you would write it? So what did you write? You wrote a parentheses and you wrote what? What are we missing, though? Okay, it's not to the second power because that would be squared. Twice means to multiply. So you'd put it out front. Okay? So you could write it like this, or 7 minus 2n 2x. It doesn't matter. But twice means to multiply. Okay, when it's an exponent, they'll use the word squared. Next one, take a minute and try and do this one. So if you're at home watching this, pause the video and come back and see how you do. Okay, so number 4, it says, let me move this up. It says 9 more than the product means to multiply, 6 and a number. Now I did use an x, but I'm not using it as times. I'm using that as my variable. So I have 9 plus 6x, or because it's an addition, it doesn't make a difference. We can do this right here. Okay. Let's look at the next one. Well, let's do this. What about this one? It says the difference of a number and 4. What does difference tell you? Tells you subtract. So I have a number minus 4. This next one, I'm going to tell you, you better star and highlight. This one is a little tricky. It's kind of a play on words with the way that they talk about it. I want you to write this. So take a minute and try and write this the way you think it would be written. Look at the words. I want you to think about it and try and write it. Now, I want you to think about it if it was written like this. If I said, Joe Bob has $8 less than me, okay? And you know that I have $20. Joe Bob has $8 less than Miss Crawford, less than 20. How much money does he have? He has 12, right? How did you get that 12? So you took 20 minus 8, right? So that means that this thing right here, to write it, you need to write that it's the number minus 8. And the most common mistake is that people write 8 minus n. Right? And that's normal. But it's this phrase right here. Circle it, highlight it, star it. I don't care what you do, but you better figure out that when you see less than, this number goes at the end. Okay? And that doesn't go away. This is one of the things that they like to trick us with, because less than, that same idea that I said that if Joe Bob had $8 less than me and I had $20, you would do this logically, but it's just trying to write it algebraically. Okay, I want you to take a minute. If you're at home, pause the video, and I want you to try and do these 4 problems right here, and then we'll come back and see how you did. Okay, for the first one up here, it says half a number. Well, 1/2 a number decreased by 3 times a number. Yes, ma'am. Great comment. Yes, you can write n over 2 minus 3n, and it means the exact same thing. Yes, and that is fine. Yes, half of a number. I'm glad you said that, because this is the same as having a 1 in front of it. Okay, so you'll see it written either way. Okay, sometimes I tend to forget about other different ways that are out there, and so if you have something different, ask and we can check and see. The difference of 3 times a number, n, to the 4th power and 5. Holy moly macaroni, that's a whole lot right there. The difference of 3 times, okay, so wait a minute. Difference, I know that this means to subtract, right? But what am I subtracting? 3 times a number to the, that whole thing goes together. Okay? So that means 3 times a number to the 4th power and 5. What should go in between it? A minus for difference. Okay? But this gets, you can get discombobulated because you miss all this right here. What it's talking about. Yes, yeah, it is. The difference is right here, and it's the minus sign is going to go in between where this and is. Those things at the and is there. Okay, look at this one. Does this sentence say less than? It just says less. So we're going to write 6 less. The product of, okay, there was your question. When it said in between, does the product portion right here, it goes in between right there. Is that what you were talking about? Yes. Of 3 and a number. Now, what about this part right here? What do I do right there? Equals 21. Now, this last one, oh, great. I am so glad you guys are asking this. Okay, so if you put 3x minus 6 equals 21, is that what you're talking about? These are not this. Whoa, didn't mean to write. These are not the same because look, this is a negative 3x. That makes this a positive 3x. And then, yeah, and it changes the sign. So since I went crazy and started marking everything up, hold on. Okay. You're going to have 6 less. And if it said less than, then if it said less than, then you would write it that way. Okay? And it's just the way the words are. Right. And, well, because on the next one, it says 24 less than 3 times a number. So there you would have 3 times the number, and you would subtract off 24. Now it equals 8. The reason why this happens is because of the less than. That whole idea, like if I had, Joe Bob has $8 less than me. Okay, that same concept. Yes, ma'am. Because it's, the word is right there. Is means equals. Is the most of the time that's what they use. Hey, Diego, I might have to get Boots to kick you in the head in a minute. Pay attention to me. All right, that's love right there. And I got jokes, huh? No problem. All right, look at this right here. Take a minute. And take a minute. I want you to try and write that. How would you write this in words? Ready? Write down one way on your paper right now. Go. What's one way that somebody wrote it? Oh, hold on. I yelled at him first. Go ahead. What she has said. So what did you say? 7 times a number. What else? A number times 7. What else? The product of 7 and a number. If it's a number to the 7th power, it would be a number to the 7th power like that. Okay? But that's all right. Okay. Let's see. Let's go down here. Let's try. What about this one? See how you could write it there. Go through right now, and I want you to try and write 12 and 13. Take a guess at how you would write that. Okay, do I have a victim? Oh, I mean a volunteer. Yes, ma'am. 3 times a number to the power of 2. That works? Yes, ma'am. 3 times a number squared. Hold on, I'm writing number squared. Yes. 3 times a number to the second power. Yep. What about this one? The product of a number squared and 3. Would that mean the same thing? Can you write the product of 3 and a number squared? Yes, sir. What about this last one down here? Down here. Wait, a number what? Yeah, a number minus 10. Okay, a number. Did you say less? Oh, no, it does matter. That's why I was trying to check. A number minus 10. Now, what did you say just now? What? 10 less than, remember, less than a number. I wanted to write this one up there. Look. A number less, whoa, that is not an L. Yeah, Tess. Thank you. Less 10. Okay. But look at the difference between these two. 10 less than a number because it's less than. Yeah, less is straight across. Less than is switched. Okay. Look at this next one. Oh, cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater by me. Try and do these last two down here and see how you do. So now on this one, you're going to, they're making fun of me coming in and out of my room. So on this next one, on number 14, if you're at home doing this, pause the video and come back and see how you do. The biggest thing I realized when I went to go do this was it was asking me for the expression, and I normally go through and write what the words say because it says the length of a rectangle is means equals 4 units greater than the width. Well, this is an equation. L equals 4 plus W. All it wants is the expression portion, which is this right here. So, I still didn't even do the right part. What it meant is for the expression, is 4 plus W. Or you could have had W plus 4. In addition, it doesn't matter. You can go back and forth. But remember, an expression doesn't have an equal sign. So the next one, pause the video and come back and see how you do. It says Anne sleeps 8 hours per night. Remember, per means to multiply. Write an expression for the number of hours Anne sleeps in N nights. So it's 8 times N. You could write it like that. You could put it in parentheses. Next, pause the video and see if you can do 16 and 17. Number 16, for her book club, Sharon reads 35 minutes each day. Remember, each means to multiply. So write the expression. It is 35 D, 35 times the number of days. 17, Friday's temperature was 20 degrees warmer than, so that's addition, Monday's temperature. So you have 20 plus T Or because it's addition, we can go t plus 20. Number 18 and 19. I said that a little bit ago to pause this and do this, but I kind of went back to the other ones. But if you haven't done it, pause it and try and answer this. If you have, you can just go through this. It says Kelly is saving to buy a new computer. Write an expression to represent the total amount of money she will have if she has S dollars saved and adds D dollars per week for the next 12 weeks. Well, first off, she has S dollars saved and she adds D dollars per week. Well, per means to multiply. So D times per week for 12 weeks. You could write it like this, but better would be S plus 12D. Because addition can go back and forth, 12D plus S can be written there as well. The next one says the yards of fabric needed to make curtains is 3 times the width of the windows in inches divided by 36. Which expression best represents the yards of fabric needed in terms of width for the window W? It says 3 times the width, then divided by 36. Your answer you should have come up with was C.